All right, Louis, thank you so much for joining me today. It's such a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, Anthony, so nice to meet you.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. All right, and now your biggest release recently is Netflix's The Last House. I mean, you've had an extensive filmography. I mean, you've directed a lot of blockbuster films, though The Last House is actually your first horror movie that you worked on as a director. Tell me, why exactly did you decide to direct this movie?
Because it spoke to me. And it's funny, I don't think it's a horror movie. I mean, it's a little scary at times, but it's there's a lot of stuff and happening in this movie. And the stuff that I related with was when I read the script by Matthew Robinson. I was like, oh, this movie, as you said, Anthony, like I've done a lot of like guys jumping off planes and cars and and monsters and all that stuff. But I hadn't done superheroes, but I hadn't done like something where I was like, I turned the page, I was like, yeah, that's me. Oh, I've sort of experienced this before and everything. And obviously, I made it. I evolved the script into something that is just a little more. But I think it started with something that I could truly relate with.
Yeah, I mean, there's that whole the core of the story, like it's like the family just like trying to come together to survive. I mean, and I read like that you try to do something more Spielbergian with
Yeah,
that kind of story. I mean, what specific cinematic inspirations did you draw from for this film?
I mean, Steven Spielberg is, and I'm not hiding, he's my favorite director of all times, and I think he's just the greatest
Same.
filmmaker that ever lived. Um, Amblin Dark, like the movies from the 80s, where maybe his life was just more in shambles. It feels like where he was talking about he had more of an intense emotional crisis are interesting to me. Whether it's like Poltergeist, Close Encounters, and obviously E.T., which is my inspiration. I watch E.T. once a week. I watched it last night. E.T. I watched
Really
just like because
classic.
I watch for to see like truth captured on film. So that's why I watch it. So it's very much these are the inspirations for my movie, and also like Richard Matheson, who's an author I really love. Who always like sees the two sides of the uncanny and just explores it really well. So yeah, I paid such an homage to his movie. I actually found the lenses that they shot ET and Raiders with,
Really?
and then we shot with the same lenses. So it's actually those lenses, the same ish cameras. The cameras have evolved a little bit, but it was shot on film and the same film stock. So you get a little bit of like that ET feel. Thanks to that, but yeah, I'm he's Steven Spielberg and I'm Louis Leterrier. I hail to the
Yeah,
hail to
that's
the
all
king.
really incredible.
Yeah.
And going back to what you said about like trying to capture that truth on screen, I mean, watching the film like with the Delgados, just they're like the main family of the film. They're all like trapped in this house and they're really trying to survive, and it really gave me like memories of like what a lot of people were going through during the pandemic and everyone was locked down. Was that like a deliberate storytelling choice that you were trying to like draw those parallels?
Yes, but I didn't want to make a COVID movie. So I wanted to sort of like, because it's something, the pandemic, unfortunately, is something that we've experienced globally. And as a human race, we experienced it and all felt the same. It's sort of like something that has changed us forever. And we survived physically at first, but then emotionally and psychologically had to evolve. And I think the ramification, we still feel the effect of COVID today. There's still it's very much part of us. So I tried to sort of like you know inspire myself from my personal experience and other people's personal experiences of COVID, and then use that as this jumping off point. So it's not a COVID movie, but because you've experienced it, you know the feeling, when you're
Right.
stuck inside, and you know what it's going to feel like. So there's less exposition and you can go straight into the emotion and the psychology of the characters, and you don't have to do like 20 minutes of exposition. You go like minute 5, you're locked in, poof, off you go, and that's that. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that like universal experience everyone had during the lockdown, like because of that, like the film's really going to connect with a lot of people.
Mhm. Yeah. It,
And what was the most challenging thing about making The Last House?
everything. It's the most difficult movie I've ever made. It was so hard. You have no idea. It's like we trapped ourselves. It's my fault because I wanted everything to be real. We trapped ourselves in a
Yeah,
real house, like because of what happens at the end. Big thick walls of concrete, not your easy. I lift, you light. Oh, we need to put a camera here. Let's open the walls. Let's do this. Lift the ceiling. Everything. No, it was a real house made of concrete and wood that had to be planned backwards. We shot chronologically, and we had to think about because they opened the layers and layers and layers of it. Real animals, real. We had to grow the plants. The grass was real. The rain was real, and also because I'm a nut, so I wanted everything to be eco-sensitive. So we recycled the water overnight. We did all that stuff. So we just like we really made it hard on ourselves, but for the right reasons, it's like just to again capture the truth, but yeah, I was just on another interview with Wagner Moura. He's still like I can see him shaking from it. It's like we're like but not only the actors but the crew too. Like we were trapped in this house for months, but it worked. It's just I think you have to capture you have to point your camera at something real because that you can tweak everything in post-production but like if you capture something real like it the movies feel different. I think instinctively us as a human race we know when there's real that's why movies like The Odyssey are working these days because people are like
right.
yeah they're really cold inside that Trojan horse. Yeah, I can tell that they're like really I can tell that Matt Damon is in pain when the mermaids are screaming at him, so singing their song. So yeah, so you want movies that just give you that and not overly post-produced movies.
Absolutely. And so going back to Wagner Moura, he and Greta Lee are like the two big stars of this film, and they're really like some of the biggest names in Hollywood right now. I mean, why do you choose to cast them as the heads of the Delgado family?
Well, I'm very lucky. Greta was believed in this movie for years. Like right after Past Lives, or during Past Lives, we met, and I sent her a version of the script very different, and she was like, "Oh, that's very interesting." And then Wagner had met later, but like way before his Oscar nomination. He was, it's just a Brazil. He was a great actor, but living Brazilian actor living in Los Angeles, like amazing. But like it's not like he was like the Oscar nominated Wagner Moura. So we decided to go on this journey together. It was a different journey. Like the movie was not like a Netflix movie from go. I had this movie for a while. I developed it myself. It was like something interesting. So we took our time to get going, but then it's yeah, I mean, I guess the answer is just they're right. They were the right people. You only find the right people. I feel like you go through different ideas, but the people that end up being uh end up acting in your movie are always the right. They end up being the right people, and they were so right, and I love them, and and we helped each other so much. Like it was like I needed Greta and I needed Wagner to survive this adventure, and they needed me, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And so overall, what do you hope audiences will get out of this film? I mean, like, what do you want them like to walk away like learning or just feeling with the experience that the Delgados have in this house together?
Well, I mean, the interesting experience that you'll have with this movie because it's on Netflix and premieres on Netflix is that, and will be on Netflix forever, is that you'll be watching this movie, experiencing this movie at home, most certainly, surrounded by your family, your pet, the food in your fridge, and I think you'll look at your life differently. You'll experience life in a different way after this movie, just because you learn a little bit about yourself while watching this movie. I think the beauty of those movies we talked about, the Steven Spielberg movies or those books, they're like mirrors, black mirrors to your reflecting your own image, in a different way. And I think that's what I tried to capture and emulate a little bit for this one, just to bring you back to a moment where cinema was talking about us, and not.
Yeah, absolutely. And like one thing I really realized is like watching the film, like, and the characters just like trying to communicate with each other. It's just like the family just like they like hardly even like know their neighbors. I mean, like they're so like preoccupied like with what they're doing in their daily lives. They don't even they don't even know some of their names. I mean, like, and I feel like
You know your
that's
neighbors.
a lot.
You know your neighbors.
Well, I mean, like, I mean, not all of them. I mean, like, I mean, like,
Exactly.
and I'm
Yeah, yeah. It's
ashamed
the same
to
thing.
say
Yeah.
that. I mean, like,
But
it's
that's
really,
but
yeah,
that's what happened during COVID. Remember, in COVID, everybody was walking out, and you realize that, yeah, you'd never looked at each other. I think society is moving too fast. Like our world is moving too fast. I think it's like that's what it should give us time to. Hopefully, this movie makes you look at your life differently.
yeah. I mean, it really shows like how like isolated, like, and just like closed off, like we are like to each other. I mean, and that could either really destroy us or it could force us like to get closer together. And I think I think the film just really captures that message really powerfully.
Thank you. Oh, amazing. Thanks, Anthony. Oh, you're the best. Thank you.
Thank you. So, anything else you want to say to the fans out there?
Well, I mean, no, it's interesting. It's a hard movie to just pitch, and it's kind of like I'd love to have this conversation after. Like, I'm interested in, and that's the beauty of Netflix, of having this movie drop, people watching it, and then the conversation start. Like, how long would you survive? What would you do? What are the two movies that you would, if you were to stay with, if you had two movies, two DVDs left, what would they be? And books, etc. And then how would you deal with your kids, your wife, yourself? Would you forget yourself? Etc. etc. So yeah.
Right. And I think I have time for one more question. I mean, without, I don't want you to like give away any spoilers, but what was your favorite moment filming Last House?
Uh, all of it and none of it, because it's like there was no like there was not a day where I was like, oh my god, I can't wait to shoot that scene, because it was like so hard. So we knew it was like every day was like, okay, it's gonna be hard, we have to find the scene, it's gonna be like, we're really going to be this. There was no easy day, but the beautiful thing, and the ultimate beautiful is like every day was a winning day. Like we finished every day and we're like, okay, that's the best version of the scene, and that's the best version of the scene, it's the best version of the scene. But they were difficult, everything was difficult to make. So in a sense, it's kind of like, it's this tough, it's almost like feat, like this experience, and we had to push ourselves and each other to just go past the comfort zone into something that just made a movie that hopefully is will feel different, and people will come out of it relating a little bit more. So yeah. um
Yeah,
yeah, if tomorrow they say go for a sequel again, same house again, I'll be like, okay, hold on, let's think about it. It's good. Yeah,
all
about
right.
it twice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. So, Louis, thanks again for sharing all this with me. It
You're
was
the
such
best.
a pleasure meeting
Thanks,
you.
Anthony, you're the best.
Uh,
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.